Hi, today we are at Buckeye Furnace Cemetery in Jackson County, Ohio, and we were out today visiting Buckeye Furnace. So while we were here and from our previous experiences with Lake Vesuvius, we know that when you have small communities that are so tight-knit, we often have small cemeteries. And our trip wouldn't be complete without visiting the cemetery that serviced the furnace. Now, we parked our car down at the bottom of the hill and made a hike up. If you do plan on visiting Buckeye Furnace, we suggest that you come with a four-wheel drive because there's some loose gravel and it gets pretty steep towards the very top of the hill. Also, we encountered a locked gate, but we just walked around the gate. But this appears to be a historical cemetery and not an active cemetery. And we didn't see any no trespassing signs. So we're guessing that the gate was locked to keep four-wheelers and such out, because there was we just walked right in. But we walked away to the back of the cemetery. We wanted to see the furthest extent of it. So we're the furthest from the entrance, and we're going to work our way back towards the fence. Right now we're standing under a large stand of red oak trees, and in front of us are white oak trees. A lot of the monuments that we found here are small marble monuments. We have found some field stones, but we don't know if they're local or if they were intentionally placed. But this small marble marker, which is typical for this location, has an obelisk. And unfortunately, with the lighting that we have now, with no clean tools or permission to clean, we can't really discern the names that are on it. But just a quick view of the ground, we can see that there's two possible burials, which aligns with two possibly inscribed surfaces. Now, we reviewed Find a Grave, one for directions, but two to also see the number of burials here. And it's estimated that there's 30 burials. There's probably 8 known, maybe a few more. I'm sure over the years, a lot of those have been lost or buried. These large trees like this have a way of falling on monuments and them never being found again. A good example is this for Ellen S. Perkins, who is the daughter of J and M. E. Perkins. And if we look, it looks like she died July 17th, 1865, aged 3 years, 6 months, and 12 days. And this is just the tablet. It's not an obelisk marker like the rest, but it was interesting that it was set here. We'll look back up. Look down the length of the cemetery. We have a little area here that's not very well mowed, and we generally stay clear of these areas because of snakes. They like to come out and bathe in the sun, then go back in the underbrush. So we'll give them their room. But on the edge of it, we do have what looks like a burial. You see this indention in the ground. We have a field stone right here. And if we look up, we have a cedar stump. So those that follow us, they know, you'll know that often when we see cedar stumps, we often see burials that coincide with them. We have this large, open expanse of ground. Some field stones here. But no real indication of burials. We don't see any foundations or loose markers, but nature and people have a way of, sometimes erasing these older cemeteries. And given its remote location and its association with Buckeye Furnace, most of these burials are probably from that Buckeye Furnace community. We don't see any recent burials. These are all during years that Buckeye Furnace would have been in operation. Now here we have another obelisk marker. You can see it has the shroud that covers the top. We don't see a base for it. It could have sank. This could be completely moved from where it was at. But it's for Eliza, wife of W. Knox, who died September 26, 1881, aged 27 years, 5 months, and 7 days. Now on the side here, we have Nora, who is the daughter of W. and E. Knox, I'm guessing that's Eliza, who died October 16th, 1880, aged 2 years. Now this 1881-1880 range seems to be a really recurrent theme that we've seen in these monuments. One, the monuments are all of a similar style. And then two, really small gap of years. Now, here we have James. He died May 6, 71, aged 1 year, 8 months, 3 days. Now, if we were to move this marker, which we're not going to do, we can see, looks like Catherine with a K, who died August 5th, 1869. Gently pick it back. We'll pan around here. We have a footstone for E, either an M or an H, and the last letter is L. We have children of CH and OJ Lantz, LANTZ. Our sun isn't facing a great direction here, but I'll try to make it out. Looks like Edward died September 14th, 1878. I can't really make out the years. It looks like maybe 1 year, 8 months, and 27 days. There at the bottom. And as we'll walk around here, if you're going to be in the cemetery, it always benefits you in your research to make sure you look on all four sides or look on the base, because there may be another name. And that looks like William died October 25th, 1878, aged 1 year and maybe 1 month and 23 days. One of the things that we found really interesting here is we have a foundation and we have the obelisk, but the base of the foundation is different than anything we've seen before, in that we have a hole here that would have been used to secure the obelisk. You know, that you could have had an iron pin in there, you could have lead, we've seen lead used, and then you would have had along here, you would have had lime mortar, and that will keep this erect, and then the lime mortar will seal the connection between the obelisk and the base. But this little channel here, I've never seen a channel ran for a monument. And it's kind of reminiscent of what we've seen at Buckeye Furnace when they poured molds or made molds for the iron ore. They used wooden frames for the iron to flow into. So maybe someone more knowledgeable about the cemetery could share that with us, but here we'll see it on another base. We have the hole to fix the obelisk, and here there is no obelisk. And then we have this channel again. I'm kind of pan around so you can get a good view of it. Now, what we did see, if I can find it again, there's our gate where we came in. Well, here's an obelisk. Here we have a foundation and 2 footstones. And what we have at the bottom of this obelisk is we see some rust. So good indication that it was not lead and that it was actually iron. And I can't make out the name here. The initials I see are JCL. But the name looks like Purlie, P-U-R-L-I-E. And the last name looks like it has B-U-R-N on it, with the date of death being in 1880. It's really difficult to read. I don't really care for moving the monuments. This one's already down. Just want to make sure we don't damage anything, but we also don't want to miss anybody. Here. This initial is NK. So when we get back, we'll try to correspond these monuments with markers that have already been, located. Maybe genealogically, we have some kind of record that they died and were buried here. And then we'll take our photographs and associate them because we also embed GPS coordinates. So anybody coming to look for a lost family member will have an easier time. Here we have a large tablet for Elizabeth E., wife of John Potts, who was born March 22nd, looks like 1861 maybe, and who died September 29th, 1881. Could be wrong off of the birth, that might be 1869, but definitely died September 29th, 1881. And you can see here we have a nice foundation, and then there was been a slot. It's a slotted base. The monument would have been set in it, and that's the tablet. And just looking, we can look at the surface of this marble monument and see, okay, that's really weathered. And then we have the broken edge where it's still really white and crystalline. So it's a safe assumption to say, hey, recently this monument's been broken. And given the size of the tree that we're under, it's pretty common to see these big trees drop big limbs that easily break these monuments. We're gonna pan up and over here, making our way again towards the gate. Have this immense tree, and right here we have a small marble marker for William G., son of J&M Brooks, who died August 29th, 1868, it looks like, 1869, aged 9 months and 29 days. And it looks like maybe some attempts at preservation work's been made here, maybe by a previous caretaker. But here we have his footstone, and it's been set in Portland cement. But we'll make our way towards the front. We can guess that there's more burials that are forward of this area, because here we have 1869. Towards the back we have 1880. It's a question, did they fill from the back towards the front, or did they start at the front, work towards the back as they filled it? Were there family plots within the cemetery? We can only assume until we have more information, but just wanted to take a moment while we're at Buckeye Furnace today in Jackson County, Ohio, and show you this cemetery that would have serviced or provided a final burial ground, final resting place for the community that would have worked and lived at Buckeye Furnace. So thank you all for watching with us today, and have a good week.